Germany, it's a hell of any view, I'm told, as I look out of the huge picture window on the Bavarian Alps to Austria and beyond. Well, it turned out last week. Today? Not much. I can see perhaps a dozen feet after dark glass before a thick white fog obscures the forest. Small, wet flakes of snow blow around from the wind like great schools of fish darting out with the way of an predator. All in all, it's a reasonably crappy day to operate a vehicle, the new 2018 BMW M550i X-Drive, though the show must continue. These conditions forced BMW to hastily fit the fishing line of 5 Series parked outside with winter tires, which made the engineers around quite grumpy. It's besides the rear-biased nature in the X-Drive all-wheel drive system that prompted the caution, but in addition the M550i's 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8, which packs 456 horsepower and 480 lb-ft of torque, Rogue's on offer from just 1,800 revolutions per minute. Until the arrival on the G30 M5, this can be a king of the revolutionary 5 Series family. It also offers us some clues in regards to the next M5, and that is due later this season. In case you missed what is this great, it will likewise feature all-wheel drive. So, in spite of the gloomy fog, today ought to be illuminating. The bit of snow swirling around and meltwater flowing in the road will surely give the X-Drive system something to take into account. Plus, well, the sound in the M550i's engine somehow makes everything seem okay. It's a huge, deep, old-school V8 noise. But even though the soundtrack is soft and mellow at low revs, fact is anything but. Even the slightest tickle of throttle, from as few as 1,500 revolutions per minute, sees this 4,372-pound sedan and hurls it headlong to the fog. I guess I was accountable for thinking of this $73,095 BMW as exactly the warm-up act for your M5. In addition to another illustration showing BMW leveraging the Untitled M badge over a product without having a hint of motorsports in the blood. Pretty soon, though, my apathy is evaporating, plus the idea of your luxurious, all-weather, and undemanding 5 Series with near M5 performance but a much more laid-back attitude might appear to be a fine idea. The M550i X-Drive will launch from 060 miles per hour in 3.9 seconds, quicker compared to F10 generation M5, thanks mostly towards the all-wheel drive traction, but additionally slips along silently when yowed-like, and yes, it always feels secure, unruffled, and almost agile. As is increasingly common in performance cars, tapping the M550i's full potential requires some priming. Usually that will mean selecting Sport or Sport Plus modes and accepting some compromises. Not here. Do you, such as gearbox programming in Sport, but hate the heavier steering? Love the additional tension imbued with the most aggressive Sport Plus suspension plus much more lenient stability control settings, but can't stand the super responsive throttle pedal? Well, there's now a Sport Plus individual setting, allowing you to combine settings to fit your tastes. According to engineers, to generate the ultimate M550i, you'll likewise want the revised integral active steering BMW's rear steering system, which comes as part from the $3,600 dynamic handling package. It's a box worth ticking because you also get adaptive M suspension plus and active roll stabilization, active roll bars like Porsche's PDCC system. Our test cars had the adaptive suspension, which sits 0.4 inch under that of humbler 5s, although not rear wheel steering or active roll bars. Despite the chassis trickery built in to cover up the M550i's weight and dimensions, plus the hobbling 18-inch Michelin winter tires instead with the stock 20 inchers, This big sedan changed direction practically. A little understeer might be felt on turn into mountain hairpins, but grip levels remain high and traction from mid-corner is exceptional. Despite carrying itself much more a traditional rear-drive BMW, the M550i felt composed rather than heavily dependent on the electronics. In fact, stability control intervention was noticeable mostly by its absence. Back down more detailed sea level and also on fast, gently curving roads, the M550i xDrive is constantly on the inspire confidence. Steering is smooth and accurate. The ride, aided from the smaller diameter winter rubber, certainly, is controlled but soothes away the few stretches of bad surface we encounter, plus the engine always appears to have so much in reserve. The V8 sees hard at low revs and after that pulls cleanly to your limiter. As you move, the 8-speed automatic box is smooth and decisive, kicking very slightly when changed manually using the shift paddles. The engine sounds fantastic, too. There's real menace towards the way it trips up toward the limiter, but one of the best exhortation through the blown V8 may be the bassy rumble whenever you crack open the throttle from 2000 revolutions per minute or possibly even longer. You couldn't mistake the distant bellow for anything aside from a V8. This is one with the first BMWs I've tried the location where the Sport and Sport Plus settings feel completely well judged. Steering doesn't get heavy and gloopy since you toggle up through Eco Pro and Comfort modes, the throttle pedal doesn't suddenly become binary, and I didn't wish to fiddle with all the individual profile by any means. Nice to understand it's there, though. Beyond the sleek, powerful, and super secure dynamics, the M550i xDrive gets most stuff right. The updated iDrive Infotainment System comes with a 10.25-inch screen with an all-new tile capability that permits the driver to consider up to 5 functions as well. It is intuitive and quick. While the rest on the interior isn't exactly full of invention and magnificence, quality is through the roof, ergonomics are sound, therefore you emerge from long journeys barely taxed whatsoever. The whole vibe in the car melds pretty extreme performance which has a quiet sense control to beguiling effect. It's such as the previous generation M5, just dialed into 8.5. And therein lies the rub. Although the M550i provides an enjoyable soundtrack as well as an impressive all-wheel drive setup that feels as though a rear-drive one, most find the package being overly effortless and not enough. While there's lots of speed to become had, there's no feeling of urgency. If you're wanting for a fast luxury sedan by having an M on its rump, the M550i xDrive has you covered. Those prepared to sacrifice ride comfort for faster shifts, greater agility, and an even more palpable feeling of control of something, however, will perform well to wait for your G30 M5. 2018 BMW M550i xDrive specifications. Price: $73,095. Engine: 4.4 liters twin-turbo 32-valve V8 456 HP at 5,5006 revolutions per minute, 480 lb-ft at 1,8004 750 revolutions per minute. Transmission: 8-speed automatic. Layout: 4-door, 5-passenger, front engine, AWD sedan. EPA mileage: 1,625 miles per gallon city hui. LXWXH: 195.4 by 73.5 by 57.8 inches, wheelbase. 117.1 in. Weight: 4,372 pounds, 060 miles per hour, 3.9 seconds, top speed 130,155 miles per hour.